Oh,
Is a technically meaningless classification.
oh,
There is no real universally definable applicable standard of terrorism.
oh. Because, let me guess. Because it's all based on who is receiving and who is giving. So sometimes, if I'm the little guy and I shoot a bomb at the top guy, well, it's not terrorism because I'm kind of justified in doing that. Like, guys, the world is unfair. I'm the little guy. I should be able to.
XQC being unusually based. The clip you just saw is disturbing and inhuman. Had Hasan, a fringe leftist psychopath, been born in 1905 in Germany, he would be in Nuremberg trials. But the left, as I've described in many of my previous videos, has become psychopathic, meeting the definition of psychopathy, psychologically speaking. That was Hasan Piker saying on Twitch there is no definition of terrorism while defending a murderer who was caught murdering someone on camera. The entire internet for the last 2 days has been mocking the left for supporting a murdering terrorist. Yesterday, Luigi, the scum who killed a man by shooting him in the back, was charged with terrorism, on top of first-degree murder, which of course fits perfectly with reality and the video I released 2 days ago detailing the rise of female psychopathy we're seeing, where I explained how society's most broken women advocating for violence and gleefully celebrating murder in itself is a form of terrorism. With the recent total and historical rejection of left-wing ideas and presuppositions we witnessed at the beginning of November, we're witnessing a complete disintegration and public humiliation of the left, where they admit the quality of their intellectual positions were always not only void of logic, reason, or coherence, but in fact murderous, twisted by resentment. The resentment was always there to see as they detest the world's most impressive men or humanity's greatest feats of accomplishments, masculinity, fast cars, the list goes on. Basically anything good that is recognizable by its internal coherence. That includes beauty, truth, objectivism, truth in all its formats. In this clip of Hasan, a fringe leftist psychopath who says there is no such thing as objective terrorism or therefore categories of right and wrong, as obviously a person who commits heinous acts if they are a part of the correct club or identity group in the inverted victimhood hierarchies of Marxism can't do anything wrong, I am reminded, eerily, given the psychopathic nature of the display we just witnessed, of the left's open warfare on reality last year when on October 8th, leftists inextricably marched by the thousands in Manhattan, a liberal hellhole, in favor of a terrorist group who had just massacred civilians, women and children. They did this, in my estimation, because they knew judgment and consequences were coming for the perpetrators. And consequences represent a coherent and fundamental apprehension of reality that does not reflect the cowardly, broken, and failed presuppositions of the left-wing ideology. In the same way, we see leftists rallying behind a murderer who committed murder on camera and are decrying his inevitable justice. Given what you see admitted not only here, which is disturbing enough, but in videos like those I covered in my video I released 2 days ago, it is terrifying to contemplate a world where society is made in the image of whatever destitute worldview necessitates their praise of a murderer. Perhaps it would be something out of the movie Joker, or maybe it would just be the end of civilization, as the resentment of Marxism has no bounds. But upon hearing the latest judgment of the murdering psychopath, psychopaths ensconced in and broken by anti-reality positions of the left have become furious, desperate to convince others that they, the ones defending a murdering terrorist, are actually the compassionate good guys, just as they did after October 7th. In their tone, you hear the pleading, sycophantic drawl that is the desperation for you to participate in their delusion, because Marxism cannot defend itself.
Technically meaningless classification.
Oh,
There is no real universally definable applicable standard of terrorism.
oh.
Now, I do think the recent results of the election have played a massive role in this, in isolating the left. They've had nothing to celebrate, psychologically speaking. They've been isolated not only by their defeat, but by their inability to convince anybody to agree with them, as they've dispensed with and demonized all mechanisms of exchange, such as reason, logic, dialogue. They've demonized free speech. And so what this has done is it has put them on an island where all they have is their insanity to stew in and nobody to broach the bubble. Because even what I'm doing here, using logic, reason, morality, and every reference to truth that is outside of their ideology, is enraging to them and, in their eyes, oppression. So that's why you have such massive amounts of insanity on display. They're unrecoverable. The left has been decimated. And now all that's left to do is wake up as many people as possible to the fact and reality that leftists are the enemies of civilization. Had Hasan, a fringe leftist psychopath, been born in 1905 in Germany, he would be in Nuremberg trials. Now, as I said, the entire internet is mocking the left, which is important. As a central way psychopaths are held accountable psychologically, since they're not hindered by morality or reason, is the public shaming that comes from all sides. Not because they feel bad, which they are incapable of as psychopaths, but because it hinders their ability to convince people. When everyone sees them as frauds, as most people are, and as displays like this help guarantee. They're simply unable to force their delusion onto more innocent people, especially women, because they're susceptible to this type of ideological pathogen. And that's very important to protect women. It's gotten to the point where they're so deranged that they're taking pictures with Hunter Biden at the White House as if it's Beyonce, posting it on X. I mean, that's the extent to which they've experienced no victories, that they feel they have to do that. And they have people like XQC. You know things are bad for them when XQC is the voice of reason calling them out. At this point, we see mainstream streamers condemning the killer and, of course, therefore condemning those who defend the murderer. Most of X, all the big accounts, and X is really where ideas matter the most, and even the president-elect, who not only condemned the killer, but every person who supports him. So it's going very badly for them. I appreciate you watching. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support what we're doing here, since we're demonetized, go to abrahambier.locals.com, link in description, and help support what I'm doing here. It enrages communists and it supports the fight for truth. I appreciate all of you.